This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we'll get started with the agenda here. This is the traffic board meeting for September 2020. First order of business is members here, John Paddock, DPW, Assistant Chief Bill Yeager, Jared Cram, Mayor's Office. Approval of the minutes from the, I guess it would be the July meeting, is that correct? We didn't have an August meeting, so. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
John makes a motion. Bill seconds. All in favor? Aye. First item on the agenda, the Binghamton Housing Authority, their request for the curb cut. I haven't received any other information. I know planning has not received any other information on this. So at this point, I think we can, sort of table and remove from the agenda. I don't know what other information they have or will be requesting. So we can remove that from the agenda moving forward. Second order of business, Carroll Street on downtown. This is for the temporary fire station. Dan, you want to take us through that?
Yeah, the fire chief, Dan Eggleston, made a request that they're going to be moving temporarily the fire station, some of their apparatus to that location. And for access to and from the building to get in and out with their fireboat and other apparatus, that they're going to need to have no parking on both sides of the street there. We met, myself and Dan Merkel met with Dan at that location and reviewed it. And what we're going to recommend is that we remove all the parking on both the east and west side of Carroll Street between Court and Pine Street to accommodate it. The only thing we're going to leave there is one handicap spot on the west side of Court Street, the closest one to Court Street. And that would allow the handicap to be accessible for anybody that had business out that area for the other businesses. But it would also, it's far enough away from the fire station that it won't interfere with their access. So basically, in a nutshell, that's it.
So these accommodate what the fire department needs in the
Correct.
temporary, and then once the new station is built, we can revert things back to.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Do we have a motion? Bill makes a motion. Do we have a second? John seconds. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Next item, I think Mr. Mazza, you're on the call here for Clapham and Fairview Ave. We'll have Dan Carell from BPD explain what we're doing here.
Okay, myself and Sergeant Patrician took a ride up to that location. We received a request from Mr. Mazza that the line of sight wasn't sufficient enough to accommodate vehicles exiting Clapham Street onto Fairview Ave. So what we did is, based on Mr. Mazza's recommendation, is reviewed what he wanted, and it's an additional 20 feet onto the existing 30 feet. And because Clapham Street is a graded hill there, and it goes on to Fairview, which is also graded, it does increase the line of sight. So therefore, we make a request that we do increase the existing 30 feet to 50 feet to make the line of sight more sufficient in that area. And really, if we need to go further in the future, we can go further. But 110 Fairview Ave is recovery services for a drug and alcohol abuse center. And they have off-street parking, so it's not going to interfere with their business at all. And the only other thing we're going to add there is that Fairview Ave on the east side from Clapham Street to the city line, we make that no parking because that's a wooded area anyhow. So we're going to make our recommendations to have Fairview Ave on the east side from Clapham Street to 50 feet south for no parking, then Fairview Ave on the east side from Clapham Street north to the city line be no parking.
Okay. Mr. Mazza, any questions?
No, but I want to thank you for that. We've always had good service from the city on the street, always. And that was very generous of you, the gentleman who spoke and the police officer who came up here. And I want to thank you for that. I wonder if I could offer give me maybe 1 or 2 minutes, if you don't mind, some other thoughts on maybe you could look at this. Fairview Avenue allows, below where I am, below the bridge and everything, especially in the area where the Methodist home is there. I think it's Methodist, it's an older folks' home. Traversing on that is difficult because, cars, it's a fairly heavily traveled road, Fairview is. And parking on both sides, and I understand people doing that. But going up and down that hill, when people are parked on both sides, usually a car has to slow down or move out of the way and wait, and everything. And I don't know the rules on that or anything, but I thought maybe you could take a look at that and determine whether or not the city is willing to consider either alternating the parking or maybe leave it on one side all the time, and everything, to allow travel to go up and down the hill by, 2 cars, and everything without any problems. So I'd just like to suggest that. It's just another thought I had, and maybe you'd want to look at that, going forward. But I don't have anything else. I want to thank you very much for those people coming up and taking a look. That's very generous of you to do what I asked. And I know it's going to be safer coming down the hill and proceeding on to Fairview Avenue, going, down into the city. So thank you, gentlemen, for doing that.
Jared. Mr. Mazza, before, if we do review that area you're talking about, one of the things we're going to be looking at is the accidents in that area to see if there's any conflicts with cars passing each other, which is going to be a big factor in the decision making, because we want to make sure that we're not going to impose upon the people in that area, both the residents living there as well as the people working and or visiting their client or their families at their nursing home. So, but we will look at the accidents and we will review that. We have no problem doing that.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mazza. So do we have a motion on Clapham Fairview intersection? It's presented. Make a motion.
Motion.
John makes a motion. Do we have a second? Bill, all in favor? Aye. Okay. All right,
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Next item, 1 Mozart Street. This is the handicap parking request that came in through our office, I think.
Yes. The woman living there, Anna Jones, apparently moved there a couple years ago, and she is handicapped. She does have a handicap placard from the town of Vestal before she moved to that location. She didn't have it with her at the time. We followed up, she gave us a copy of it, but we followed up with the town of Vestal to make sure that it was still adequate and still valid. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Seeing you in a moment here. Valid to her, and it is, and it's good till February of 2021. Then we looked at the property area, and there is off-street parking available at that location, but it's for only 1 vehicle, and it's a 2-family home, and the people on the 2nd floor do have access to that one spot there. And the location that she's talking about is directly in front of the home. And the reason she's concerned, the last couple of years she hasn't had a problem, but she did recently have a stroke. And she's concerned with her health issues from the stroke, as well as the students that are now in that neighborhood. And she feels that she needs the handicap parking for that area. So based on the fact that she does have a handicap placard, she is handicapped, and she doesn't have off-street parking accessible to her, we make a recommendation that we do put the handicap parking in front of her home.
Okay. Any questions? Do we have a motion? John makes a motion. Bill seconds. All in favor? I think, Bill, you have to sign these, right?
That already
You already
said.
signed them? These just copies?
Yeah.
Okay. You have to sign them, okay. Any other business?
Yeah, the other issue we had a request for a handicap parking at 15 Archer Street. We want to put that on hold because the street's under construction and we can't get in there to properly do a good survey.
Okay,
So we're going.
so we'll have that for the October
Yes.
agenda, okay. And then I just was looking through one of the other minutes on Jarvis Street. I don't know if that ever,
It did.
it did, okay,
Yeah, it's all up to date.
okay.
However, there's a couple other streets. Marquette Court hasn't been done yet. At the dead end there that needs to be
Okay.
done.
It's still at, okay,
Okay, and recently Conklin Ave was resurfaced.
Yes.
And at the intersection of Conklin Ave and Pennsylvania Ave, I'm sorry, at the South Washington Street, get my street straight there. Okay, we used to have diagonal parking. However, the diagonal parking was taken out, but it was taken out through a motion through the traffic board. And there is a section in the traffic board that does cover that. So right now it's parallel street parking. Do we want the parallel street parking or do we want the diagonal parking yet?
I think
We
when,
wanted the parallel. part.
Yeah.
That's why we changed it, because I remember talking to the mayor.
yeah, but I just wondered if we need to add some additional striping or et cetera in that area. Because I know when it was diagonal, the Conklin Ave, where the bridge is, that was kind of geometrically the same, I think, as the diagonal parking, I believe. But
I haven't been over there, but Scott Regal for office, I think he has, he didn't think that the way it was left was, if it's gonna be parallel, I think it does need some additional striping. I can check with him.
yeah, but why don't we do that? Because I think that the guys just happened to be in the area when they were striping all of Conklin Ave.
So it is gonna stay though, the parallel.
That's the wish, yes.
So we'll follow up on that for the next meeting. We'll have everything ready to go.
Yeah,
Because I think the concern was because it's so wide there that when it was the back end, it was like working the traffic calm,
mhm.
you know, slow it while you're approaching that. And you're only gonna get more people there when the greenway gets built.
Mhm.
But if it's not, then I think you might have to put some other pavement markings out there to kind of narrow the width up.
The other thing I was looking at too, I know that as you come off, I don't think it's maybe not Tremont, but when you come off the spur from 434, there is no parking in that area. And I don't know if that was because it was no parking because of the back end, that there just wasn't enough room. If that was parallel, maybe we could continue those cars all the way down Conklin. That's the other thing maybe we can look at. There's the painted parking, and then it seems like when that loop goes on to Conklin Ave, there's no parking.
At the intersection itself.
No, further east, I guess, of South
Oh,
Washington.
okay, all right,
Like right next to the bridge, right?
Yeah,
okay.
there's no parking there. I don't know, because of if it was, hey, we didn't have enough room when it was back in, of people coming off the highway. So yeah, we can add that on for the October, get it where we want to be.
Okay. And there's one other thing, in front of 20 Holly Street, the old Marine Midland building here. There's two parking spaces that were marked in front of the building there. It's actually a no parking zone. There's a fire hydrant there. But again, like I think the crew was out and they just painted the spaces there, not realizing or thinking that it was going to be changed. We should have those,
But yeah,
instead of being marked as parking spaces, even though the sign's there and the hydrant's there,
mhm.
people are still parking there, so we should have them like striped or something, so.
So it's not for parking.
Yeah, right out here, it's basically moving, John, from the entrance of 20 Holly, the intersection closest to the state.
Mhm.
There's two spots that are in front of a fire hydrant that just need to be cross-hatched, I guess. And the signs are there, the signs are in the right
The
place.
sign's in the right spot, everything's, except for the spacing.
I have something else.
Yep, we'll be right with you.
Okay.
All right, is that it? Or-
So first one, action council's presenting on Mountain Ave. They requested a second curb cut for handicap spot, so put that on for next month's agenda.
Yep.
One Balcom.
Do they have one,
Balcom?
one Balcom? They have a site plan?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll have that on for the next meeting agenda.
They fill out the appropriate application.
No, I'll send that to the first board and in the meantime, I'll send the site plan.
Okay, they'll be on for October, okay. Heather, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay,
I know the guys from the Parks Department did come up and do some trimming along the signs, which was very good. We still need, excuse me, speed limit signs going south because people think after they've hit that first one going south that, you know, it's 45, 50 miles an hour. And I haven't heard anything on that. And also on the mailboxes across the street. With the people going the speeds that they're going, I think I said at the first meeting that my husband is handicapped, so getting across there is sort of treacherous for him, and my neighbor is 93. So, and we have to keep those cleaned out in the wintertime to get our mail. So that puts my husband standing in the road with these cars coming at him, trying to dig out the mailbox.
so Heather, I can tell you, I don't have an update for you yet on the mailbox situation with the post office. I can tell you that the BPD has ordered a speed radar sign to be placed in conjunction with a speed limit sign on Pennsylvania Ave as a demonstration project for, this is going to be the first one in the city to see how it works, how it's controlling speeds, and then we'll see if it works at other places. We work with BMTS to make sure that the design was consistent with federal standards. So it's been ordered. I think it should be in here shortly, and we'll have it installed there on Pennsylvania Ave. This is similar to, you see the speed limit and then it lists your speed. So people that are flying down the hill will be alerted to the fact that they're speeding.
So this is going to be going north into the city or going out of the city?
I would imagine going north into the city as people are coming down the hill.
Okay. One other thing that Bill and I were throwing around was, would it be possible to have flashing red lights at the sign coming into Binghamton with the speed limit?
That's something we'll have to look at. I don't know what the best practices are. I don't know off the top of my head. That's something we'd have to look into.
I mean, I've seen it in other communities where we lived, and it was very helpful in case you didn't know the speed limit. It brought your eyes right to it.
Sure. So we'll keep in touch, and when we get closer to getting that installed, we will let you know. And I'll say too that I know that the concern is kind of right near your home. I know that we'll have to find a location that works, that we think that the speed is at the maximum, and it's the heavy residential area. So it'll be in the general vicinity. I just want to make sure that it gets the most bang for the buck.
I understand. I just, we're still seeing the cars going fast and, trying to dodge the cars for the mailboxes. And, you can't stand out there and put your hand up and hope that they're going to stop, because they're not gonna. So, we're facing these dilemmas and we need some help.
We're on it, and we'll continue to work on this for you.
Okay, thank you.
You, Heather. Anyone have anything else?
Yeah, one other thing that I had, the last 196 South of Washington Street. It's at the intersection of Woodland Ave. We have barriers there, crash
Okay.
barriers, as you're coming down Woodland Ave. one of them's been wiped out. It's been out for over 6 months, probably about a year, I think. I'm not sure when the accident happened, but it's on city right away there. So I have a,
What is it, Dan? It's a sign?
no, it's a crash barrier
Like guide rail?
guide rail. As you're coming down, there's 3 of them along there. As you're coming down Woodland Ave, and one of them's been wiped
One
out.
is missing.
No, it's wiped out. It's there, but it's wiped out. It's crashed into. So if you want to take a look at that.
I'll look.
I don't think there's been anything with that guide rail at the corner of Morgan and Park. Anything going on that? Well, we can talk about that after. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Bill makes a motion. All in favor? Aye.